Hey guys, and welcome to this video, which is going to be all about how woxic plays on the CT side of Mirage. And before we get into this, we need to talk a little bit about how terrorsides default for mid control on the T side of Mirage. So the two pieces of utility you need to keep in mind here while watching this one is the window smoke, which is thrown for obvious reasons, and the connector molly, which is very common at the top level as teams go for mid control, because it denies a lot of playmaking opportunity, particularly from CT AWPers from that connector area. So anyway, let's get into the first gun round we're going to be watching here. What we're going to see here is a really great way that a CT AWPer can contest the terrorist mid control by knowing what nades they're going to be using to go for that mid control and using that information against them. So what you're going to see here is a woxic's going to throw a very strange molly that bounces off the right side of the window and lands in the corner. And what he's doing here is he's pre-mollying the window smoke, and now as you can see there's a gap on the right side of the smoke. And what Tyler are going to do here is they're going to be unsuspecting, they're going to run out and give woxic the entry kill because of using this pre-molly and knowing that they'd use the smoke to go for mid control. So in this round, as you can see, woxic reflashes, he retakes the angle, he wants to stay aggressive, take the fights, he knows they're out mid, and he wants to kill them right there. So what happened at the start of this round, which you might have noticed, is Hobbit, he had a good spawn, got out window in front of woxic and he's gone for an underpush, as you can see on the minimap. And on this round for me, woxic is staying far too aggressive. He keeps re-peeking, keeps fighting. And so as you can see here, he even goes as far as smoking on this molly just to keep on the angle. And the reason he might be justifying himself doing this is because Hobbit has done this underpush. He's keeping all the pressure away from Hobbit, which means when he goes with the flank, they're not going to be looking at him and he's going to be able to get the kills. But for me, with the man advantage, he should have just stayed passive. But this is how woxic plays. He loves to re-peek, take the fights, and it's just part of him as a player. Moving on then, let's get into watching this next round we're going to be going through. And again, on this round, woxic, he really wants to contest that terrorist map control towards the middle area, and he's going to use his positioning and his utility to try and do just that. So let's get into this, and the first thing you're going to see here is woxic, he's going to flash over the top of mid, and the idea behind doing this is he really just wants to kind of slow down the terrorist side, perhaps take an AWPer off, holding the connector swing, which is what woxic wants to go for here. You can see he throws this smoke. What he wants to do is pre-smoke the molly, but unfortunately he's going to miss. Not going to put out the molly. He's going to be forced to play behind the molly. Instead, he's going to fall back out of connector and flash off that top mid angle and retake the angle which he wanted to take in the first place. So once the connector one-way fades, he falls back to playing top connector. This is a very common position for AWPers all over the place, used all the time at the top level. It's very strong, and because of this, Astralis, they're going to smoke top connector when they go for this map control to take him off the angle. So when the smoke comes down, woxic, he doesn't want to stick around. You don't want to stay behind this connector smoke, because if Astralis went straight into an A split, for example, he'd be caught in a very bad position. He'd probably not be able to do a lot with the AWP from that position. So instead, he's going to rotate. What most players would do here is rotate through the murder hole and go towards the A site, and then if the A anchor was playing retake, they push onto site and they play a double site setup. But instead, what HellRaisers loves to do and what woxic is going to do here is rotate into playing back site B. And then the B anchor, Dead Fox in this case, will push up short and they'll play a double short setup and use this to continue contesting that mid control. But here, as you can see, Astralis, they go straight into B split, and woxic from the back of the site is going to find two incredible kills and shows just why he loves rotating into this area of the map and playing this area of the map towards the late round. So next up, we're just going to look over a quick example of how woxic tends to approach playing these anti-eco rounds. And looking at the buy on this round, we can see that Astralis, they've only got some pistols and some armor, but most notably they've got no utility. And HellRaisers know that this is very likely to be the case. So watching board with woxic here, we can see that from the start of the round, he's opting to play from the ticket blue position on the A bomb site, and the reason he's choosing to do this because he knows Astralis, they don't have the utility. If they went for a straight A play, they wouldn't have the utility to force him back, to isolate him, to deny him the opportunity to go for the shots and get the kills on them. And playing with Hobbit on the A bomb site here in this double site setup, it's very unlikely that Astralis are even going to get a plant, let alone win the round in this scenario. Moving along then, in this example, we're going to see that woxic, he loves to switch up his positioning in the early round, and this round is going to play from within the B bomb side, what you're going to see here is that woxic and deadfox are going to quick boost onto the platform outside of BAPs. And the reason they're doing this is this is the fastest way for an AWPer to take on the pixel angle, as woxic is doing right now. What we're going to see next is woxic is going to move into playing a more aggressive position. What he's doing is getting more information and more map control for counter-terror side. And what this means that the other B side player, which would be deadfox in this example, is he has more options of where to play. He can either push up short into ladder room, for example. He can play from kitchen and hold the murder hole and help out those A side players. So on this round, Ent actually went quite quickly into doing a sort of execute here. We didn't get to see it play out from the B's perspective this round. The thing to note here is that woxic is shielded from short. What this means that if Ent had gone into a fast B split or something, for example, and deadfox had been playing within kitchen, holding that murder hole, it wouldn't have been a disaster. He wouldn't have been pinched like he could have if he was just playing at the back of the platform or playing further back in AWPs. He can move forward, take the fight versus the AWPs players, and hopefully come out on top. At the very worst, just trade evenly. So next up, we're going to see a great example of woxic getting really aggressive with contesting that terrorist mid control that we've talked about so much already. So watching on board, we can see that he starts off this round by just peeking window in a very standard fashion. Just waiting a second and pausing. Let's think about what woxic is thinking about at this moment in time. So if the T side was just going to peek mid on an AWP, or even do it dry on rifles, that timing has already passed by this point. And it means if they're going to go for mid control, they must be setting up the nades at this point, and this is going to take some time. So woxic knows that he has a time window here to make a play, to get out of window and make a play, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Watching on board here, you see he jumps out window and he moves into playing this bottom connector area. So on this round, Ents want to kind of force out a fast B split play, or perhaps they're going for ladder control, something like this, and they're smoking into connector instead of mollying. And you see as they come out, woxic, he goes anti-flash, gets a very impressive kill. It manages to fall back into the connector smokes, which basically makes it an absolutely untradeable kill for the terror side here. The thing to note here was actually that Issa was in connector, and this is very, very important for this sort of play. And this because the connector molly coming out from T side is so likely that had they mollied and not thrown these smokes, then woxic falling into the molly would have taken so much damage. And the reason it's very preferable to have Issa with him is Issa can smoke onto that molly and keep woxic alive. And regardless, he would have thrown a connector one way anyway, which is very good for the CT side. So let's get into the last round we're going to be watching in this one. And again, we're going to see another early round aggressive play coming out from woxic, which really shouldn't be a surprise considering the rounds we've already seen in this video. So watching on board, see the first thing to do is going to throw his early flash onto top mid, potentially tear the terrorist side down. Now they're going to move into doing an aggressive ramp play. So what they're going to do here, throw the molly, they're going to double swing behind the molly. And the idea behind doing this is a very CT-sided peak because of how the molly smoke works and the fact they're looking down towards the terrorist players. It means the terrorist player can barely even see them. Now they've moved into a bait setup, and the idea here is that bondik is pushed into the corner. He's actually anti-flash at the moment. woxic here is going to take first contact. When he takes that contact, he's going to fall off, and then bondik is going to mop up any more kills on any more players that come in. You see woxic, he gets the kill, and now he's going to rotate. So now here we're going to see what I think is a fairly sizable blunder from the HellRaisers side, and that is that Angel wasn't the player that rotated into the B site here. And as we can see, they're now rotating into playing two AWPs on the B site. Bit of a mistake, and there are definitely ways that Ents could have played out this round. They didn't know it. There are certainly ways they could have played against this and had a very decent chance of winning the round, even in a 4 versus 5, because of this mistake. So anyway, let's answer the question that's posed in the title of this video. Should you AWP like woxic on CT Mirage? And as always, the answer is yes and no. Certainly, he has so many fantastic early round aggressive options that I'm sure a lot of people can learn from. But in a lesser sense, I do think he overpeaks a little too much. I don't think he has the best fundamentals in the world, but he certainly gets the kills for HellRaisers. He's certainly a fantastic player, and I look forward to seeing how much damage he does across 2019. I think that's everything for this one. If you enjoyed that one, you like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, all that good stuff. Thanks to everyone for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.